Oh, Mel, she's so triggered. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
I am 55, actually.
Cool. Like kids
Um,
and friends.
yeah, I just wanted to, I was typing too furiously in the comments. I am a clinical therapist, and I wanted to speak on the confusion and on the person that was saying that gender dysmorphia is a medical condition, which it is not.
Gender
Uh,
Gender
dysphoria.
Body,
dysmorphia is not even a thing.
Gender
okay,
dysphoria.
body dysmorphia can be, but
Right, and it's an obsessive compulsive disorder. It has nothing to do with gender.
so I mean, I'd like to know what articles or where their
Wait, what do
education
you
came
think
from.
gender dysphoria is, Stacy?
I think gender dysphoria is actually not being comfortable in the skin that you're in the body that you were born in.
Did you ever actually look into this as a therapist, Stacy?
I have had trans clients.
Oh, I'm sure you were great to them. Uh-huh.
Well, thank you.
You're
I think
welcome.
I hear some a little bit of sarcasm in
You
there.
think? You don't even know what gender dysphoria is? And then you're coming in here acting like you're some kind of fucking expert on it?
So educate me on what I said that was wrong. What is gender dysphoria? Not being happy with the
Great.
gender you were
Great.
born with?
Phoenix, would you like to explain what gender dysphoria is?
Sure, it's a distress-based disorder that sometimes has to do with the incongruency between your sex and gender, but not always. Cisgender people can be diagnosed with gender dysphoria. There's more than one type in the DSM-5
Okay.
with different sets of criteria.
And this is in the DSM-5.
Yep, page 512.
All right, I'll look it up. I'm always open to be educated. I was trying to support you, not that's what it is. I was trying to support the argument that being transsexual is not a
Oof.
Okay, you're gonna have to work on your language, Stacy.
Yeah, if you're not working with this population all the time, it's like the language is a bit on the old side.
well, maybe I'm too old then.
Well, I don't think it's you're
Old.
old. It's just that maybe you haven't done this in practice in a while and you haven't had to, and that's valid. Like, we obviously don't work with every single disorder. That's impossible.
Right.
Stacey, I'm closer to your age, and there are words that one of the words you use is a word that we don't really use anymore. And I understand if you haven't, if that's something like Phoenix was saying, you haven't been updated with, if you have not worked with patients consistently, because it's a term that has taken a different direction since you and I were younger, and it was more commonly used.
All right. Well, thank you for giving me some grace in that,
Sure.
because my intentions are honorable. I don't think there needs to be any
Sure.
hate at all for,
Well, great, but you did come in here like trying because we do have a clinical social worker here. We are educated on the topics that we're speaking about, right? We have a better understanding on what gender dysphoria is than you do. But then you came in claiming that you were some type of expert and you had incorrect information.
okay.
The trevorproject.org is a great place also to get information.
I was actually just pulling that up. And Stacey, we do see a lot of people join the lives, and emotions can be high, understandably, because of what happens. And so I'm not going to make any. What I want to try and do is give you resources like Phoenix is doing as well. Phoenix, do you have the page on Trevor? I'm trying to pull that up for where that is. It's in the resource center. I'm trying to remember the link.
Did you ask if I had it pulled up, Bish? Sorry.
I'm grabbing that. Oh, here, I actually found it. Stacey, are you familiar with the Trevor Project?
I am. I will do more research. I'm just going to sit back and listen now.
It's okay.
Thank you for letting me alive.
Sure. So what, Stacey, the page you want to go to, and I'm really glad that you know what the Trevor Project is and you're familiar with it. If you go to the Trevor Project and go to the drop down, by the way, for those who don't know in the chat, Trevor Project is the nation's only 24/7, 365 on a live and crisis prevention helpline for LGBTQ plus youth. And it is available for youth via chat, via phone call, via text message, even on the website. If you're on the website and you're in an unsafe situation where someone might, who's unsafe might discover, you can hit the escape button 3 times to get out and close the window quickly. But one of the great things they have for Stacy, for educators, for therapists, and just for everyone is the Resource Center. So you go to the page and then go to Resource Center, which is trevorproject.org/resources. There's a complete library there. There's things that show language of how to show that you're an ally, about facts and statistics. There's a coming out handbook, and there's ways you can really support people. And I don't know. I think really it's a matter of just like of keeping updated. And it's a lot to learn. It really is. I hope it's a resource that can really help. If the intention was misconstrued when you first came in, maybe this is a chance for us to really address that and go in a different direction with the conversation, Stacy.
Yep. Thank you for your input and education. And I'm gonna back down, and I'm just going to listen and learn more, and I'll do my research. But thank you for giving me the website and some resources so I can become more familiar with the language that I need to use in today's society.
You're welcome. I appreciate you.
So here's the thing, you guys are all like pissed off at me, right? Like her impact was still spreading misinformation. I do want to give accurate information on this platform. I am glad that Bish had some patience to educate her. Again, I am trying to make sure we're giving accurate information, and as well as that I tend to have a panel of people that I trust and that I know, and that we make sure that we are going to say things accurately, or as accurately as possible. Sometimes we fuck up. And sometimes people like to try to come in and like come to the rescue, but I also feel like, like we've got this, we know what we're talking about. She was trying to correct Phoenix, who works in, the field professionally, knows what gender dysphoria is. So yeah, that even though her intentions were good, her impact could have had a negative effect on the audience, claiming that you have some type of education when you're giving inaccurate information.
Yeah, and the fact that she didn't know doesn't mean she doesn't have the education she claims to have. We cannot possibly be an expert on every single thing in the DSM. It's impossible. There's too many things. There's too many.
But when you use that, when you come in, and you state that education, and then you give inaccurate information, the people that are watching will sometimes take that as fact.
Yep.
We just have to be careful on what we are saying in here. That's it.
This could be a good. Is it okay if I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay, so this could be a good opportunity for those who are listening and who may be new or maybe returning to the channel and not understand. One of the things you frequently get that you address several times, I think it's important that you do address it, is people say, well, why is Mel upset? Why is she so upset? I think it's really clear, but whenever you started the channel, this was a lot different experience for you, wasn't it?
Yeah. When I started this channel, I thought that that people were just misinformed when it came to trans kids, that they just didn't have an understanding on what gender affirming care is. And I thought I could provide a platform for parents and, children themselves, teenagers mostly, that should be the only ones watching on this app, to have an understanding on what being transgender is, what gender dysphoria is, how to support, and then for parents, how to support your children or your future children if they are part of the community, what to say, what not to say, and how to have a more a less traumatic and more happy, healthy childhood for these kids. And unfortunately, when I first started, there were a few proposed bills against the LGBTQ community and transgender people, as well as transgender children. But it was still kind of hypothetical at the time, right? They were proposed bills, nothing had been passed. And then after I had been doing this advocacy for about 3 months with education, the first gender affirming care ban passed in Utah back in February 2023. Yes. And then things started changing, right? And then it started becoming more reality. And then, as a lot of you know, I was living in Texas at the time. And then in September 2023, gender affirming care became banned in Texas. I have a transgender child who was receiving gender affirming care, therapy, hormones at the time, and she lost all of her health care. So I had to flee that state and move to another state within the United States, which I don't think anyone should ever have to do. I was privileged and fortunate enough to be able to do that for her. But I know that a lot of people can't do that, and their children are still stuck. Children are stuck all over this country right now without any type of gender affirming care even available to them, even if they did have parents who would support them. So nobody asked, go away. And literally Bish did ask. So why am I so angry? Because when things became reality, and it starts affecting you personally and emotionally, and when it comes to my child, seeing people invalidate her constantly, and just the transgender community, being against this healthcare, having no understanding on what it is, not having any understanding on the different terminology, the different types of diagnosis, why children with gender dysphoria need treatment. It's because they have clinically significant symptoms. And if a child is showing any type of symptoms that needs medical care, they deserve access to that medical care. I could keep going on and on and on. I'm not going to do that. But I just want to say that's why I'm fucking angry. Because when we try to educate someone and they just reject the information, they have strong opinions and have no understanding on what they're talking about, it is incredibly frustrating. So,
And we are humans, and Mel is a mom. I'm an uncle. I have 11 nieces and nephews. I won't know what it feels like to be a parent, because no thanks. Oh my God.
What the heck? I want an Uncle Bish.
Oh, no, the best thing about being an uncle is sending the damn kids home, even though most of them are adults now. But and some have their own kids. That I'm making myself older, Jesus. But no, it's. I know as an uncle that I'm fiercely protective of my nieces and nephews, and I can't even imagine as a parent. And I think we all need to realize also that it's very difficult to see people saying things that are actually attacking your kids, and that can really have an emotional wear on any human. So I think it's important to highlight positive things as well. And Nini in the comments wanted to share with you, Mel, saying, "Can you please let Mel know how many parents she has helped be better?" I think it's important to see things like that, because days like this when it's really difficult and things are flying at you, and we had guest after guest who were really saying hateful things. It makes it really, really difficult sometimes to process. It's a lot to handle. So sometimes we just need to take a moment and we get ourselves together and get back to it.
thank you, Bish. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Had good intentions, but her impact she still very well could have had a negative impact.
Hello. Hi.
How old are you?
I'm 19. No, you're good.
All right. Let kids be trans.
Yes, I agree. I just kind of had a question, more of like a concern about something you said this morning. In Adora's live, you said that, I don't know what the context of the conversation was, it doesn't really matter, but you said that kids at school don't know that your daughter's trans. And I think obviously that's, for her safety, that's up to her. But do you not worry that your
It's not
platform
up
might...
to her. It's because we moved, right?
Oh,
Because I moved.
no, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's not something that she's, doing because she doesn't want people to know, which is, valid too. But I was just on the concern side of the platform maybe outing her.
Well, they shouldn't know who she is. If they figure that out, that's doxing me.
No. I just mean like kids at school seeing like your live or something.
Right? They don't know me.
Okay, I was just genuinely curious, and I wasn't trying to be like...
I see what you mean. Gotcha.
No, yeah, I wasn't trying to come off
Yeah,
any type of way. I was just genuinely curious. I'm sorry.
Interesting thought. That's an interesting thought.
All right, well, you guys have a great night.
You too, Kalani.
Thank you.
I mean, I do everything I can to protect her identity on this platform, but yeah, I mean, my face is here, sure. But my child is also very aware that I do this. She gave me permission from the very start.
I would have. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sure I think some kids at school know she's trans, but I'm just saying my whole point with that is that she's not one of the kids that was at school and then like socially transitioned and then kids had to adjust to that. That was the whole point of what I was saying. But yeah, I do talk to her about like the safety of this. Obviously, if there comes a point that she's more at risk, then we will address that. Like she comes before me. But it's really interesting to me too that if you were really genuinely concerned about that, maybe you shouldn't have asked me and brought it up again in front of another 1,000 people. Just saying, right?